Hello, my name is Mike Yoder, Town Manager of Bristol, and this is a presentation that we presented at the Business Leaders Luncheon that we held on May 8th at ADEC. So we thought we'd create this recording and be able to share this wider in the community. I want to start with mentioning all of the new projects that are starting, the infrastructure projects that are beginning, that actually began last fall, but are really kicking in gear here in April. Altogether, we've got between $30 and $40 million worth of projects. That includes a new wastewater treatment plant, a new water tower, and other new water infrastructure. NDOT is in process of doing about a $6.5–7 million reconstruction of State Road 120 and State Road 15. In addition, we're adding some additional lift stations in town. And of course, NIPSCO is investing several millions of dollars with a new 10-acre substation on the east side of town. All in all, for the next 24 months, there will be a lot of disruption of traffic in the town of Bristol. That's right, for 24 months, we're going to be working through a variety of different detours and traffic congestion that we just need to work with. So slow is going to be the theme, I think, for the next 24 months. But it also, so in some cases, I want to add just a little bit of humor to this, that yes, we could create a driver irritation index warning and create that for both 25 and 26. But on the other hand, maybe a more positive spin on this is the town of Bristol's driving adventure. So all of you that are local are going to know what the local detours will be. But let's take a look at where the traffic congestion will be happening for the next 2 years. And so this will help, I think, both our businesses and our residents begin to plan for the next 2 years and how to get around in the town of Bristol. So just to locate us on the map, that is the town of Bristol. And this of course is State Road 15, this is State Road 120, and this is State Road 15 going north of town. So that helps you locate where we are on the map. Now for the last couple years, we've been working in preparation for 25 and 26, developing a local detour route. And of course, this is Ponderosa down to Bloomingdale, out to State Road 15. And this is Industrial Drive to Maple Drive to Earthway to Rail Park to Stonemont and back up to State Road 120. Something to keep in mind is that while nothing is going to be this year, nothing will be fully closed as far as streets goes on 120 and State Road 15. Anytime we can remove traffic from this area, from the downtown area, it will just help everybody get around easier. So north-south traffic on State Road 15, if we can move those commercial vehicles to the Ponderosa route, that's great. If you're coming into town from the west and you're just wanting to turn right on 15 and go south, we hope our commercial traffic will consider using the Rail Park and Industrial Drive option. So let's start digging into the projects that are going to impact traffic in town for this year, 2025. So NIPSCO is in the process of relocating utilities for the big NDOT project coming next year. So they've already completed work in this area. They've completed work in this area. They are currently working in this area of town, west side of town. Coming up yet this summer, they'll be working in the downtown area, a little bit on Chaptula. Out here on the east side of town, they will have some work to do south of State Road 15 and immediately in the center of town at that intersection. And that's probably going to be the work zone that's going to add the most congestion to town. And I think they're going to wait until the very end of the project, so that's 8–9 months out before they tackle that. We'll see. Sometimes these project schedules change on the fly. Also, sometime this year, we're not sure when, but NIPSCO and Comcast and Frontier will be moving some utility poles in the two blue areas, in these two blue areas that I've designated here on the map. Not sure exactly when that happens. Also, the new NIPSCO substation, which is happening here on the east side of town, being constructed. Some of the new poles that are part of that construction project are going to impact local transportation as well. So first of all, on Bloomingdale, there'll be some new poles installed. On Ponderosa, they'll be installing new utility poles. Going up on Montville Road or State Road 15, there will be new poles installed there as well. And if you've been out on County Road 8, you'll notice there's a whole line of steel poles lying in Marty and Penny Straub's field. There'll be a series of utility lines impacting there. I don't know how much that'll impact traffic in that area, but those will be installed. There's also obviously all that new infrastructure on the south side of town. That's no longer should be impacting traffic too much, and I'll talk more about that project here towards the end of the presentation. In addition, the town has planned two major infrastructure projects on Elkhart and St. Joe Street. Over here, this is State Road 15, and this is Ponderosa. We'll be totally reconstructing these streets and installing new water mains. So these will be major projects where these streets will be closed for a significant amount of time, or limited traffic for a minimal or a maximum, well, I'm not sure, maybe a couple weeks. We'll have to wait and see. We'd like to get both these projects done this year, but my guess is we may just get Elkhart done, and East St. Joseph will wait until next year. So let's take a look at all these projects on the map in one setting. And so you can see here's the areas of impact for 2025. The orange is NIPSCO, and the blue is the town, and that other color is utility location for NIPSCO and Frontier and Comcast. In addition to this, we have some water main projects that have, well, first of all, we have a new lift station going in Condon Park that'll impact traffic somewhat. We are installing some new water mains up on North River Road. Also be some built out along on the east side of town on State Road 120. So all of these will impact traffic to some degree in 2025. So another change that the town council is contemplating has to do with our business route update. For a number of years, we've looked at Ponderosa Drive, doing a minor relocation of that, coming down through this development on the Abby Thomas property, connecting it industrial, and then a leg going south to County Road 10 to connect to a new infrastructure to be built through this farmland. Well, that was a good plan while we had all of this area being, landowners were saying that was going to be manufacturing, which would mean a lot of traffic and both for commercial deliveries and shipping, but also for employees, maybe as much as 1,000 new employees in that area. But now that we have a data center, a couple data centers looking to locate in this area, that means we'll have maybe 100 employees and virtually no commercial traffic once these are up and running. So that changes our need for a business route through here until we know for sure what's going to be developed here and what will be developed in this area. So the town has gone back to a plan that they looked at more than 5 years ago actually, and that is to connect Earthway. This is Earthway and Maple, connecting Earthway to Bloomingdale. Now there's a couple things that gain from that. First of all, that's a much quicker and direct route for commercial traffic to get east and west, north and south from the toll road across State Road 15. The other thing we hope is that while the town has wanted a stoplight here for many, many years. It's my opinion that by doing this, we generate enough traffic counts at this intersection that may trigger or warrant a traffic light at that intersection, which I think will help traffic flow significantly. The other thing we're aware of is that the developer or landowner in this area plans to build this segment sometime this year, opening up this area for business and manufacturing growth. What happens out here and what happens further south in this area, we just have to wait and see what kind of development happens and what is the best route to get traffic in and out of these areas and the areas to the south. Okay, moving on to some of our other cool projects that we have, and that's the construction of a new water tower. This is what the site looked like a couple weeks ago. This is what the site looks like today. This is the foundation for the water tower, which will eventually look like this. Now, I don't know if we're going to have that hatch pattern on top. I don't think we will. It's just an artist's conception at this point. Frankly, I think it looks like a helicopter landing pad. I don't think the town has a helicopter. I don't think we'll be building that. The logo, however, will be there, and we've designed that in a way so you can see it at least a mile away. Now, the water project is about a $12 million project, but our other large project is a new wastewater treatment plant. And we are needing to reconstruct or rebuild this because this plant, the current one, which is on this site, is frankly just wore out. Every week we're having breakdowns of equipment. It's old. It's been around for a long time. It needs to be replaced. We're finding it harder and harder to meet the standards for discharging into the St. Joe River. So it's time. So what you're seeing here is what the final site layout will look like. Over here is where the reed beds were at, where we were utilizing that to help treat some of our sludge. This will all be replaced with sequential batch reactor tanks. And I'll show you some pictures of those under construction here next. This will be a new office, maintenance shed, and control center. And then we have other structures around, new structures around the site. There's two old structures over here that we're going to repurpose. This is a $25 million project. And we started with demolition of all the reed beds. Those are completely gone. And in one day, the floor for this SBR, these 3 SBR units was poured, and we have a video that shows that happening. Now, what's pretty cool about this was done actually in 16 hours in one day. 73 trucks of concrete were delivered at 730 yards of cement. And as what happens with some big projects, there was also a couple problems. One of the trucks showed up and the cement didn't meet the standards because every truckload was tested, and found out there was a problem back at the plant, which couldn't be solved that day. And we were set up to pour this in one day. It had to happen that day, so Kurt Concrete actually had to use another plant to provide the concrete for this work. Just an amazing amount of work in a 16-hour time. I'm not sure you can fully appreciate the scale of this other than if you have some concept of 730 yards of cement. So if you look at the site today, these are fairly recent pictures. In this corner, these are the 3 SBR tanks being constructed, variety of stages of construction. Those are the walls. Here's another view from the other side. These walls are 30 feet high, and these are pretty substantial tanks that'll hold a lot of sewage for treatment. This is the headworks area. This is where the raw sewage comes into the plant. And we have a picture down here of, this is the area that will be used for ultraviolet treatment. It's one of the final steps before the treated water is discharged to the St. Joe River. And by the way, the water leaving our plant is actually cleaner than the water that's in the St. Joe River. So let's talk a little bit about the new NIPSCO substation. It's happening on the east side of town. I think I have a little closer view of that. So this is where a 10-acre substation will be built. This is a distribution substation, 300 megawatts. And the plan for this, the reason for this is it will improve the electric grid for residential and manufacturing use in this quadrant of the county. So we've had some what you call poor quality power in this area, and actually not having enough power has inhibited some of our economic growth in the town. This new project will take care of that. If you've been in Bristol, you're well aware of these large towers that are heading south out of the plant up the hill to County Road 10. Let's take another look from County Road 10. This is the line of poles that are on the south side of County Road 10. That's over here. And these poles extend 2.5 miles over to the AEP substation, which is a transmission line substation. So in other words, it appears to us that the power from AEP will be transmitted on these lines to the distribution substation in Bristol. A very big project. While we're here, we might as well talk a little bit about the data center. I know there's been a lot of questions about the data center and where are we at with that project. So today we have 3 entities looking to locate a data center in, excuse me, in the Bristol area, south of town. So the things that we've heard, the town council has heard, is that one of the major concerns is water usage. Water is used for cooling these systems. There's 2 major cooling technologies that are being used today, and then we should mention that these are improving constantly because the businesses want to lower the cost of cooling. So one entity that is looking at town will use an air-cooled chiller. So they fill the self-contained system with water. It might take 4 million gallons to fill. Then that's it. That's all the water they need. Then you use air to cool that water and recirculate it through the building. The other type of chiller is a water-cooled chiller, and that's a facility that would have daily usage of water in the neighborhood of 300 to 500,000 gallons per day. That sounds like a lot of water, but for our aquifer, that's really not a problem at all. The town council has talked to the Indiana Department of Natural Resources. They have no problem with that amount of water being pulled out of the aquifer. In fact, that's substantially less water than what's being pulled out of the aquifer during irrigation season on those fields. So for an example, to put 1 inch of water on 1 acre, that's 27,000 gallons of water. So the site that's been approved for a data center is 247 acres. So in 1 week, to put 1 inch of water on that would be 6.6 million gallons. And that's only one field. There are numerous irrigation systems on the south side of town. So literally millions of gallons of water can be pulled from that aquifer on a weekly basis. And virtually nobody even has missed that water. We have a huge resource there. So water is not really an issue in this town. And Indiana Department of Natural Resources agrees with that. The noise sound was, the town council took that very seriously, and we have changed the town ordinance so that the maximum decibel at the property line will be 80. But in addition to that, the town will be requiring additional sight and sound buffering at the property line. Interestingly, one of the parties that are looking to locate a data center here has another data center in another area. It's on only 77 acres. They had all of their chillers running and all of the natural gas generators that are on the site running, and at the property line the decibel level was 50, very low. So they've made great progress in noise abatement on these sites because frankly it's a concern wherever you locate a data center. The other concern was on light. Actually, the light from a data center, the town is adopting lighting restrictions very similar to what they call night sky standards that protect the night sky. And data centers are can more easily meet these standards than if that whole area was filled with manufacturing. You'd have a lot more lighting issues with manufacturing or residential, as a matter of fact. A new issue that came up was utility rates, and how does a data center impact local utility rates? Well, there's actually some legitimate concern about this, and I know in other states the impact seems to be fairly immediate. The desire to, or the need for the utility companies to repay that infrastructure, which most of the time is paid by, for the most part, by the consumer of the power. So new manufacturing comes in town, they pay for their infrastructure to get power to their facility. In the case of Indiana, actually some of this cost will come back to the consumer, but it's generally over time. So the data center would invest millions of dollars in building the infrastructure. In this case, NIPSCO would use that new infrastructure maintenance cost and input that into their next rate increase that they'll go to the Indiana Regulatory Commission to ask when they ask for their next rate increase. So down the road a bit, there will be some rate increase as a result of this, or any infrastructure improvement. Most of the burden, though, is carried by the commercial rates and not by the residential rates. And finally, there was a rumor out there that every data center came with a nuclear power plant, and no, that is not true. There is no nuclear power plant coming to Bristol in the near future. So just a quick look at the data center location that's being proposed. This is the 247 acres that are zoned and ready to go. It is 1.5 miles away from the elementary school. It's relatively far away from residential uses. And again, I'll repeat that the site plan will include sight and sound boundaries or borders, buffering around the edge of the property when it's adjacent to residential use. So again, this seems like a really great opportunity for economic development for the town, a $1 billion investment, which would be very significant for this town and for the county. And so with that, that's the quick update on the town and what's happening to us this year. Again, we're asking for everyone to have patience as you travel through town and around town and prepare for delays.